Warning, some material may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Welcome to the Storytellers,
Here we discuss movies, books, and games.
and all things stories. I'm Nate,
And I'm Brian.
and today, two cinematic heavyweights are going head to head. Ding ding, motherfuckers. We got one that's made over $1 billion in the box office last year, Infinity War, and now we have the other movie that's about to maybe shatter some records and hopefully dethrone Avatar finally.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of that movie being the #1 movie of all time. Just because of China.
Yeah.
It's the only reason.
The U.S. market's not as important in movies anymore, I don't think.
It really isn't. But I don't know. That movie's a shit show. But we can crap on Avatar some other time. Let's talk some Avengers.
Yes. Avengers Endgame came out, so we're going to talk about these two great movies.
What was your anticipation like going from the end of Infinity War and then a year for this movie?
My anticipation was I thought they were going to expand upon Infinity War more, but it's all they really could do is, I guess, is resolve what happened in the first movie. I mean, I think that's what happened.
Which they did, and you know, I will say that's awesome because like the Russos and the writers and everybody that works for Marvel, like, yeah, there's a formula and it can be formulaic, but they have their shit together. They have cause, effect, resolution. Why can't the people at Lucasfilm learn this?
Yeah, the one thing I do like about the Russos when you're talking about the first movie, Infinity War, was they said they had to keep the plot as simple as possible. Because there's so much going on with it that if you overcomplicate it, you're never going to be able to make the movie. So they had a simple thing, which is Thanos needs to get these stones. That's the plot of the movie.
And if he gets them, we lose, and half the world, the universe dies.
And that's the plot.
Yeah, it's as simple as Star Wars. Save the princess, blow up the thing, right?
Yep.
And you know what? I think that's the heart of the foundation of most good fantasy and most good adventure stories. It's not too complicated.
Yeah.
Blow up the Death Star, throw the ring in the mountain, destroy the evil. You know, the intricacies and the things that you come back for are the nuance of the characters and the things that, you know, they're going through. You know, the reason I brought up Lucasfilm is because, like, the beginning of this movie, Endgame, is like how Last Jedi should have began.
Yeah.
You know, we need to have that period of mourning for these characters. Like, they should be in a hopeless situation. We see the aftermath of, you know, how badly hurt everybody is from losing Han, even though, you know, they had, you know, a Pyrrhic victory, right? You know, they destroyed the third Death Star.
Yeah. Big star.
Star killer, whatever the hell. And, but at what cost?
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I like this movie, is because it should be a no-brainer, right? If you pose questions, you must answer said questions.
Yeah.
Period. The end. Well, otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah, because the whole idea of this movie is you have to have resolution for these characters we've known about for 10 years. And however many movies, you know, there has to be resolution for those characters. And I think that's what they just build towards, you know, how are they going to tie up all these ends? And obviously, spoilers.
Yeah, of course.
Because
if you haven't seen the movie by now, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, I mean, 1.3 billion or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's going to crack 2, I think.
Yeah.
We're only in the second weekend here, so. But I was thinking when at the beginning of Endgame how I was like, man, because there was a lot of kids there, and I was like, I bet you these kids are bored to tears.
Yeah.
Because like, and I'm not complaining, but the first hour of it's 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Almost the entire first hour is basically an epilogue of Infinity War. Yeah. This is what happened. This is how we're picking up the pieces. It's like, post-apocalyptic world now, and it's very dark, and everybody's depressed. I really liked the opening with Jeremy Renner, looking for his family, and everybody disappeared. Yeah, that was a pretty dark opening.
Yeah.
So I mean, I appreciate that because it was, the opening was as dour as the end of the last film, so it kind of flows right into it. Yeah.
And it gives you a quick explanation. You didn't have to go into much storytelling to see where he's at midway through this film. This is why he's like he is now.
You know what? He was like, I mean, let's face it, I think Hawkeye's always been like a C-list kind of character. I don't think he has a lot of fans compared to anybody you can name in the Avengers. And I really liked his character in this movie. I thought Jeremy Renner brought it, and he was way more fleshed out than he has been in the past. Like, he's fleshed out to the point now that I want a Hawkeye movie.
Yeah.
Like, before, I was like, oh, well, they'll never make a Hawkeye movie because no one fucking cares, right, about Hawkeye. But now I'm like, okay, I would watch it.
Yeah. He was definitely interesting. Just losing his family pushed him over the edge, kind of.
He became the Punisher.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. But
I can only imagine a world, in the where everybody got snapped, half people got snapped out of existence, and like Frank Castle's still around. Like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like he feels like the greatest sin is these evil people killing other people after somebody had died already. Mm-hmm. So he's going to eradicate them basically himself before they hurt more.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's that whole Batman complex, right? Like, how far will you go down that hole before there's no coming back?
Yeah.
Which is why Bruce Wayne won't kill anybody, because he knows if he does, he'll never come back from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same thing here. Black Widow got to him just in time.
Yeah.
Before, now granted, he had killed people, but
lots and lots of people.
He was able to turn back because there's a certain point where there's no coming back from that dark road, and you're just a killer.
Yeah.
And I think that clouds your judgment. But he ended up being the hero, all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Since we're on him, let's talk about that little sacrifice for the Soul Stone.
Oh, yes.
I like that scene.
Yeah, the back and forth, and just when you think you got it, it switches at the end.
I mean, it wasn't no surprise to me.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. I didn't know which one was going to go in.
Yeah.
And although I'm not surprised that it ended up being Black Widow, because then we have that shot that's almost like, if you look at the way that she fell and the way Gamora fell, and they're both cross-legged at the bottom of the pit, it's identical.
Yeah. And I think I figured out who was going to fall just based on, who has the least to lose. Hawkeye's trying to get his family back, and she's going to sacrifice herself so he can get his family back, basically. She can't have a family, really, technically, from the other movies.
That's
revisit that.
That's true.
So it was sort of now, I do like the fact that...
Do you think that was a good resolution to her character arc?
I think it's interesting for other characters.
I mean, there's no coming back for her.
Yep, that was one thing I was impressed with. We tried to bring her back and we can't.
Well, Banner said that he wished for her to come back when he snapped the gauntlet, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, so there's no coming back for her. So cancel your plans for the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, that's my concern, because I do know that people want a Black Widow movie. I would like a Black Widow movie, especially if you make it in the vein of Winter Soldier. And everybody talks about, there should be a female James Bond, female this, female that. I'm like, Black Widow is the fucking female James Bond.
Yeah.
Why can't give her an espionage movie and make it badass? But now, what are they going to do? she's a popular character. Do you think that she'll get a movie?
Well, they had talked about it for a while, but I don't know how they're going to do it unless it's
A prequel.
Prequel, yeah.
But then I don't really want to see a prequel.
Yeah. So, if it's a prequel, are they going to recast her?
Well, I don't know if she's contractually done. I think that Chris Evans is done.
Yeah.
Obviously. I think that Robert Downey Jr. is done.
Yeah.
Unless they back up a dump truck full of money on his lawn again, which Disney has fuck you money, so maybe they will. I don't know. I think Chris Hemsworth's still in it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be in Guardians 3.
Yeah, which was a nice little twist at the end with the quote-unquote joke as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that's an actual comic book. So it's probably just a joke that they're teasing fans with, but
I like it.
Yep.
I mean, Thor is the most comedic character out of the Avengers, really. So,
yeah,
his character's grown that way, and he'll fit right in with the Guardians.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on how they handled Bruce Banner and the Hulk?
I loved it.
Yes, it was great.
I loved it. Yeah, as soon as I think the way the shot opens is like you hear his voice before you see him, and then I was like, oh, he's like totally hulked out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was cool because I'm still craving that Hulk movie we never really got.
Yeah.
With Ruffalo, or just the Edward Norton wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it's technically in Phase 1 of the MCU, but no one really counts it.
Yep. We have characters from it in
other movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Infinity
Nick
War.
Fury's in it at the end, and
Thunderbolt Ross.
Right. But I liked it that he's always the Hulk now, or like some hybrid version between. Because I noticed he's not as big.
Yeah.
He's like, he's bigger than Bruce, obviously, but he's not like as big as he was in the first Avengers, for instance.
Yeah.
And no, I'm glad, because that I was worried in the Avengers, because like they had that moment where he's like, I've learned the secret. I stay angry.
Yeah.
And then he turns into the Hulk at will, and I'm like, ugh. You kind of ruin that character, because like the whole point is he has to battle the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if he could do it at will, then it defeats the purpose. But they've kind of retconned that a little bit over the past few other movies, and he's had trouble changing or had erectile dysfunction.
Sun's getting low, buddy.
Right. So I like that.
Yeah. Because what my concern is that they were holding the Hulk back to where he's not going to be able to change into Hulk, and that's going to be the resolution. The Endgame is he's going to Hulk out at the end. But I'm glad they didn't do something weird like that, where now he can turn into the Hulk and just smash everybody.
No, it was funny when they went back in time to New York City, and he's like, they're like, smash some stuff, act like normal, and he's like, oh gosh, this is like below me, and he's like, just casually he's like punching cars and throwing stuff like he's like blasé about it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I liked that.
And I think it makes him a more interesting character, because, we've seen at the beginning of Infinity War, just the smashing stuff, like, hey, Hulk smash, it doesn't work all the time. He fought a superior fighter in Thanos, he isn't just a brawler like Hulk was. He was calculated, he was as strong as the Hulk, and he had more skill.
Right, because the Hulk isn't about skill, it's brute force, and most things can't beat him because of that. But that actually was one of my most disappointing notes on Infinity War was I was wanting more Hulk.
Yeah.
Storytelling wise, I like the idea that, Hulk got his ass beat, and that left like a psychological scar on Banner.
Yeah.
And so he's having trouble changing, and like that's from a storytelling point. Yeah. That works great. As a Hulk fan, I want more Hulk.
And I'm not even so sure it was a psychological scar. I just think that those two personalities hate each other so much. The Hulk was just fed up with, I have to protect you all the time. I have to save you all the time. You need to do this on your own type philosophy.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I think it's like, I think it's also an allegory for erectile dysfunction. Like he just couldn't get it up.
Yeah, maybe. He grunted a few times.
But it works. But I'm always a fan of more Hulk. You
Yeah.
know, I love that part at the end of Endgame where he just pitches the bench
No,
off like into the woods because like I think that Black Widow's losses hurts him more than anybody.
well, yeah, they had gone down that route that he was falling in love with her.
Right.
So, yeah. Which is also weird in Infinity War, where he comes back and Falcon's giving those strange looks, like this is awkward, that he's back. So I don't know what was going on there. There's some subcontext between Black Widow and somebody else, maybe, because he had been gone so long. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I like the movie Endgame.
Yeah.
It's got some problems.
Yeah. They don't follow their own rules. The time travel rules are broken all over the place after they set them up.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay, they said that they can't influence their own timelines. Every time they go back in time, they go to a different reality.
Right.
Right? Okay, so at the end of the movie, Steve Rogers goes back in time.
Right.
He doesn't come back. He's on a park bench. He changed his own past somehow in his own timeline, which they said that you couldn't do earlier in the film.
Well, whatever. Like so, wherever you're at in time is your reality, right? Yeah. So, like at any point when he's flipping back and forth, which we don't get to see, so we have no idea what order. He would have had to start in the present, I think, and work back to the 40s, right? Probably. Because my thought is that he gets back to the 40s, woos her again, and then just lives out his life there until he catches up with this time stream.
But the problem is he can't do that in that time stream. They set up their own rules. He's in a totally separate time stream. So he would never showed up on that bench.
Well, maybe those Avengers maybe that's the whole reality is a separate reality. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, somewhere else there's Avengers that are waiting for Rogers to come back and he never does.
Yeah, to me it was like the one thing that kind of threw me off. Plus on top of it, you're going to say Captain America with all of his morals and that are going to sit back and watch all this stuff happen on Earth that he could prevent. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's true. I've heard that argument, but there are other people. I'm like, the other Captain America is still out there fighting Hydra.
Yeah.
Like, he has a doppelganger if he's staying in the 40s, right? So the other Cap is still fighting the Red Skull while he's, living his idyllic life. Morally, could he do that? I don't know. I mean, that's just like the conversation of would Luke Skywalker ever give up? Yeah. Like he did in The Last Jedi. Which I think, for Luke, I don't think it works. For Rogers, I think maybe it does because it does feel like an arc. Yeah. He's had enough. There's nothing that, like, he's the big, like, of all the other horrible things that have happened in the world, like, they stopped the number one, right? Yeah. So maybe he can let the other stuff go. I tend not to look into time travel stuff with too much scrutiny because, this film, Back to the Future, Terminator, Bill and Ted, you name it, there's inconsistencies. And which is why, people say that, astrophysicists and different, scientists say that there can't be time travel just because of the very paradox of the idea. Yeah. So inevitably you're going to have a paradox. I'm able to overlook that. One thing that I thought was odd is that, and some of you comic book fans out there, I haven't read a Cap comic for years, but I used to, and let me know in the comments. I was under the impression that, like, he had, like, a healing factor similar to Wolverine, so I don't understand why he'd be, 80 years old. I feel like he should look, maybe slightly older, not that old. Yeah. What are you?
Yeah, I'm not sure myself. I always assumed that he stayed younger. That could be just because there's so many runs of the comic book. Right. You always see him as a young character. You know what I mean?
Right, that's true. But like, if you look at like they're like the Super Soldier project that happened there, and what Hydra's doing, and what they did with Wolverine and Weapon X. These are all variations on the same idea of making a super soldier.
Same thing with Bucky then.
Yeah.
Because Bucky didn't fall into an ice block somewhere.
And he didn't age, right?
He didn't age.
So I think that's a continuity error, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because how old was Chris Evans? Like 35, 40 maybe?
Yeah.
So like, the old age makeup they put on him made him look like he's, well, if you're a World War II veteran now, you're 90 or 100.
Yeah.
Right? So
right around there.
They should have made him like maybe 50 looking.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit of age lines, just seeing that he's been through some stuff. I don't know.
But he's still in that world, so like maybe he'll come out of retirement still. Maybe he'll sign him for one more movie. We'll have old Cap.
Okay, well, let's talk about this since we're on Captain. Okay, and so then he bequeaths his shield to Falcon.
Yeah.
Why?
It's in the comic books. Falcon becomes Captain America for a while. So does Bucky, though. So.
Well, that's my thing though. Is like, yes, I understand that it's in the comic book, but we're not talking about the fucking comic book. All that matters is what's in the film.
Yeah.
And like, first of all, Falcon is a C-list character. Bucky is his best friend, and Bucky's like, why don't you go talk to him and have your final goodbye? Like, it should have been reversed.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Well, what does Cap say? Till the end of the line. I'll be with you till the end of the line, and that didn't happen.
I feel like that Bucky, he didn't get his resolution, right? Because that should have been the end of the character arc. You know, it doesn't matter if they're going to make a Falcon or a black Captain America or a different Captain America. I don't care. In this film, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, his best friend.
It's just like it's just like when it reminded me of Force Awakens. You know, when Leia hugs Rey instead of Chewbacca. Yeah. You don't even know this girl. Yeah. You just met her like yesterday. You've known Chewbacca for 30 or 40 years. Yeah. I don't, like, it just seemed like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. It's strange. But that's why they did it, so they did it.
Well, I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I want to get back to Infinity War, because, to me that movie is broken down into two storylines, basically. I mean, there's all these other little side plots, but it's basically Thanos' journey and Thor's journey. There's two different journeys, and it all comes down to the end of the movie, how it's going to be resolved. I mean, if Thor throws that axe at his head, he's the hero of the movie. He didn't. Thanos wins the movie. He's basically, quote unquote, the hero of the movie, even though it's not heroic.
Right, no, I agree. It's definitely, I don't think anybody that knows storytelling will argue that in Infinity War, Thanos is the protagonist. Yes. That's the way it's presented.
It's from his point of view.
Which makes Thor and everybody else the antagonist. Yeah. Even though we as an audience are still rooting for them. But also, we can understand why Thanos is the way he is and what he is doing. Which is why the movie really rocked my socks, and I paid to see it twice in 1 week, because it's been a long time since a big tentpole movie like that really did anything for me. Yeah. Because, no news here. Everybody knows that Marvel has a hard time making compelling villains. Yeah. They do. And it's not just them. Look at cinema in general. How often does how often do you get a Vader or a Joker or somebody that's...
Anton Chigurh.
Yeah, Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. How often do you get a villain like that both that you can somewhat identify with and it scares the hell out of you?
Yeah, you have to be able to almost sympathize a little bit with their point of view, I think. So, he has a clear-cut reason why he's doing it, which is, I'm glad they changed it from... And I'm not some comic book expert.
You talk about Lady Death.
Yeah, they changed it from the comic book. That would have been so goofy. It put so many people off that's never read a comic book. Why is he doing all this for this?
Well, I have to say this about that.
Yeah.
If you can, like, okay, like, it made a lot of money, but as far as like the continuity of the films, like Captain Marvel went over like a fart in church.
Yeah.
And if you can squeeze her into this movie, you could have squeezed Lady Death in it instead.
Yeah.
If I had a choice between Marvel and Lady Death, it's Lady Death all day long.
Yeah. But the problem is they need to do it for the general audiences too. So I mean, nobody would have even understand what that whole plot was about, you know. Wait, what's going on? Why is he doing all this over a woman? You know? So
Well, I think that you could have done both, but like you said, the Russos wanted to streamline the story, and you know, comics have like so many different Silver Age, Golden Age, different, you know, the New 52 with DC, and different things that they overlap stories and timelines, and like so like it's impossible to do like this is the adaptation.
yeah.
It's different than translating a book, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm fine with them cherry picking
Yeah.
whatever they like, as long as they stay true to the kernel of the heart of the story, which is important, and the characters.
Yeah. And that was my other concern, because we're going to go back to Captain Marvel here real quick.
Sure.
Is that I was afraid.
Did you see Captain Marvel, the film?
I did see the film, and it was all right. It's an all right film. You know, it doesn't do much for me, but
Full disclosure, I haven't seen it, and I have no desire to see it.
yeah. My concern was they were just going to have her sweep in and magically resolve everything. That's what my concern was. So I'm so glad they did not do that.
They kind of did.
Well, certain scenes they did, but it wasn't like she came in and basically.
It wasn't the Captain Marvel show for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't. She's in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
No more than 10.
At the beginning and at the end.
Right. She's in it very briefly, but let's talk about her for a second.
Yeah.
I did not see the film.
Yeah.
But being this is a sequel to Avengers, I don't think that I should have to, in my opinion. And well, it's okay because like the Avengers and me meet her for the first time.
Yeah.
At the same time. So I don't have to have any extracurricular knowledge, right?
Yeah.
She just shows up and they're like, hey, and she's like, hey, and it's like, there's nothing to it. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Do you think your introduction is bizarre?
It's like out of nowhere, and like I was like, do they already know her? Because it's almost like they just let her in, and just because she saved Tony Stark.
Well, Tony knew her obviously because she saved him, right?
Yeah.
So like that was her in, I guess. But
Yeah.
we don't see any of that.
Yeah.
She just kind of shows up, and he's like completely disillusioned, and I don't think that they even share any dialogue.
Yeah.
Tony and Marvel.
No.
He's disillusioned and broken down and all messed up, and then like she shows up and everybody's like just like, hey.
Yeah.
Like there's no connective tissue between Fury hitting that button
Yeah.
at the end of Endgame to this.
Yeah. She just appears out of nowhere.
She just appears.
Oh, must have been flying back to Earth and stumbled upon the ship. Coincidence. You know?
Right, and like and given that like everything that's going on in the world, like it makes the Avengers to me look stupid because like this could be an enemy combatant for all you know.
Yeah.
This could be a Skrull, this could be some kind of trick, it could be who knows what.
Yeah.
And then like next thing you know, Thor's just like, I like this one because, you know, the audience is supposed to like her, but I don't know anything fucking about her.
We have to get to the rest of the story. We put her in the movie, we need to get to the rest of the story. So
But really she serves no purpose. What purpose does she serve?
saving Tony.
She saves Tony.
That's it.
But that could have been anybody.
Yeah. She blows up a ship at the end. Big ship. So that's another problem I have with some of these movies is in the setup to a lot of these movies, they made some of these characters way too powerful.
Yeah,
Like-
well, that's the problem with Captain Marvel is like she just shows up out of nowhere and does like a light speed thing through the cruiser. It reminded me of Last Jedi in a way.
Yeah.
She just fucking just okay. Well, it's different if that's a character sacrifice, even though that's dumb in The Last Jedi. But the point is that she's Superman with no kryptonite.
Yeah.
What's her kryptonite?
I don't know.
She's good. She's good at everything. She shows up at a stranger's headquarters, and they like her automatically because the script says so.
Yeah, and the Russos said when they did Infinity War that there's some of these super powerful characters. So what they tried to do was do something to knock them down, basically. So you'll see like Vision, super powerful. What they do? Gets stabbed right off the bat, and he's pretty much wounded the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange gets taken hostage. You know, they made Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange movie super powerful at the end. He could control time and just loop it.
Right.
So, like, how do you stop that? You know, so they were really good at that. But I just think that she came into the movie and she could do whatever. So they knock her down a peg. So I think that's, you know, I wish they would have at least that. Give her some type of weakness that, you know, well, she got punched.
Well, you know,
Power Stone.
Going forward, you're gonna have if Brie Larson's gonna continue this role, you're gonna have to do something to change how her character works, because what possible threat could she face?
Yeah. She destroyed a whole.
And I don't think that. She destroyed a whole battle cruiser in one punch.
Yeah. And in the movie, her movie, she basically ended the Skrull Kree War in one fight at the end of that movie. She's just blowing up a whole bunch of different ships, you know, and...
Right. I think, see, the thing is with that is, like, let's say this was Superman.
Yeah.
Like, a Superman that the audience likes, not necessarily what we have now, but let's go back to Christopher Reeve or something.
Yeah.
You know, he's an alien, has all these powers, and he has his, you know, he has two problems. Well, three. His Lois is a problem, his secret identity is a problem, and then there's kryptonite, right?
Yeah.
So, and I still think he's overpowered. But, like, what you could do with a character like that, you need a super threat, is, like, have it be completely off-planet.
Yeah. Like
Guardians does, to have space monsters and different things like that. But the difference between her and Superman is that she has no charisma. Like, I don't think that she can hold a movie like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about her character.
Yeah, it's sort of like...
You know, like Guardians of the Galaxy, with all the weird stuff going on in those movies, wouldn't have worked without without the charisma of those characters, right?
Yeah, and personally, to me, the biggest weakness of like a character like Superman is his compassion for humans.
Right.
And
having to make the hard decisions.
Yes, like Captain Marvel, and you know, like I said, I never read any of the comic books, so I'm totally off base. But I know that they've respun that character and like tore it down from the floor up and done it many times, and it's never sold well. Yeah, I mean, in her movie, has a disregard for basically humans, you know, in certain ways. Like she steals the one guy's motorcycle. She doesn't care, you know, she does whatever she wants, you know, and
she's a strong, independent woman and she don't need no man.
Yeah, so that's my thought is, you know, maybe show a little bit of compassion, you know, towards like, oh, I have to save all these different galaxies now or all these different planets, and okay, well, I don't see that, so I don't know if that's really where you're at. But
it's, let's face it, it's lazy writing.
Yep.
It is. Like, compared to the writing of Infinity War, the Captain Marvel stuff in this movie is just lazy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's bigger fish to fry. Oh, really? Bigger fish than destroying half the universe?
Yeah.
Half of known life? That there's bigger fish than that? Well, then I'd like to see them.
Yeah. There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon booze. All right, let's get off Marvel. Okay, so she pulls the gauntlet off a little bit, and then Tony does his thing.
Yeah.
I feel like, am I missing something? It seems like that this whole thing that he has this other gauntlet in his suit is like completely glossed over. Like, can you explain this to me?
Yeah, I didn't see any. I mean, I know his suit can change because he's got the one that actually he can adjust it. So maybe he adjusted it on the fly.
Supposedly, I read a couple articles, and supposedly he and Banner made it, and it's in the film.
Yeah.
But I never saw it, and I never got up from my seat the whole movie. I watched the whole film.
You're talking about the one he had at the end where he does the ending and snaps.
So at that point, there's two gauntlets. There's
Yes.
the original one that's on Thanos'
Yeah.
hand, and then now he has this mini gauntlet that's part of the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, see, I didn't catch that anywhere where they built it or...
Supposedly it's in the movie, but like I said, I've only seen it once, and it is 3 hours, so maybe it is. I don't know, but let's say that it is in the movie. Something about that I don't like. It seems arbitrary that like you like the first gauntlet was forged by a star and a giant dwarf.
Yes.
Right? It's this magical creation, like one of a kind.
Yeah.
Because you have to have something that's that power. You know, it's just like the ring was forged in Mount Doom. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. You have to have a powerful conduit to be able to control these stones. And so, without all that jazz, Tony is able to make one on his own.
Yeah, I don't have so many problems with that because he just always sees things from a science standpoint, you know, and a engineering standpoint. So he might have been able to figure out some way to control these stones, but them creating two of them, I don't think that's what happened, in my personal opinion. Like I said, all I know is his suit is able to change and adapt to whatever he needs it to be. Because that's the extremist armor he got, or whatever they want to call it. And I think he adapted it on the fly to hold the stones, and he knew it was going to kill him, maybe, and he did it, and that's it.
Well, if that's the case, I feel like it was glossed over.
Yeah.
And also, from a storytelling point of view, I don't know if I agree with it. Yeah. The movie already made me suspend my disbelief that, he just like blinked and figured out time travel.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a super genius. I'll let it go. But these gems are more magic than science.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you can argue that.
No.
So, like, I'm just like, what is, you know... Because Doctor Strange is like, if I tell you what's going to happen, it won't happen.
Yeah.
Because Tony's like, tell me this is the one chance that you saw. If I tell you, it won't happen.
What she then does he goes...
Yeah, he just holds his finger up.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's doing that thing again right when he's like, Doctor Strange is there next to Tony, like a few feet away, when he swaps the gems out.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to decide if Doctor Strange pulled something that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
You guys tell us in the comments if we're stupid, because I don't know. It just seems like it was glossed over.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just had to figure out a way, because you have to have Iron Man as the one that ends it at the end of this movie. He started this 10 years ago, his movie.
Yeah, I'm fine with him ending it, and I'm fine with the righteous death. That's all well and good. That's the completion to the arc.
Yeah.
Especially after he got what he wanted out of Pepper. You know, like they had a family and did all this stuff, and like it's a good send off. But there's a lot of things in that. Well, first of all, like the I miss the days of like forming lines in battle.
Yeah.
You know, from Braveheart to all the way up to Lord of the Rings. Like, this thing is just a clusterfuck, and I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Everybody runs out. Like they did that in Infinity War.
Right.
You had the Wakandans all lined up for battle with their shields and ready to go.
See, well, that worked better for me. I was able to kind of see what was going on and what the stakes were. Here, it's a little jumbled, especially like from an audience point of view. Like, we don't have that much familiarity with like the evil forces that Thanos has necessarily.
Yeah, it says dog creatures.
Yeah, we don't really know what they are, what they're exactly capable of, or what all that is, and so they're trying to move the gauntlet down the field, right?
Yeah.
What's the end game on that?
I think
because while they're doing that, Ant-Man and the Wasp are in the van, trying to fire up this time portal, that they never resolve. Did you notice that?
Yeah, because the whole idea, though, was to get the gauntlet and go back in time to return the gems before Thanos could get them.
who was going to go back in time.
I don't know. They didn't really.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that the whole last 10 minutes feel kind of sloppy to me.
Yeah. Just a huge battle of people doing things. That's what it was. Hey, we got to pop this person in there. Got to make sure everybody gets their face time in the battle. That's the one problem I have with this movie. The reason why I think Infinity War was better is because you had groups that were in the battle. So you had more time to show them.
And it's separate battles.
Separate battles, yes. It wasn't... Thanos wasn't at every battle. You had the battle between Vision and Scarlet Witch versus Proxima Midnight and Clovis Clave.
Right. And they did that a lot in Lord of the Rings, too. Yeah. You have this conflict going on over here, this conflict going on over here, and that helps the audience separate it in their mind and, I think be more a part of the story because you're able to focus on this one thing for a period of time and then let that go and then move on.
Yeah.
Instead of having, a million CGI characters, bombard your senses.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man rode a goddamn Pegasus.
Yeah. You got to get these people that don't go together. That was what that was. So, I mean, that works great, I think, in comic books in general. Where you have a panel and you see the visual of this person with this person you wouldn't expect them together.
Sure.
Sometimes I think it doesn't make such great.
Well, I don't know.
The
Pegasus thing kind of, it works in this film, but from a Spider-Man point of view, kind of bothers me because, the greatest thing about Spider-Man to me is his naivete.
Yeah.
And, once you've rode a Pegasus, what else is there to do? That's pretty amazing. So it'd be hard to be wowed later on.
Well, he also went to space, too. You got to think of that.
Yeah, well...
If you're a young kid and you go to space, it's going to be hard to wow you. If you've seen Aliens,
Space is one thing, but a fucking Pegasus? Come on, it's Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, but the Pegasus, you got to think of those, too, as they're from Asgard, which are also basically is an alien planet. So
True.
That's how you have to look at it, I think.
True. No, it doesn't bother me that much. I'm just thinking about this new Spider-Man movie that's coming out. The whole time he's, going to be facing Mysterio, and I'm going to be thinking, you rode a Pegasus.
Okay. So let's talk about, in my personal opinion, the best character in both these movies.
Okay.
Thor. His character in the first movie is great. He has that great dynamic with Rocket. He's got that same comedic tone. They finally figured out Thor's character, I think, when they did Ragnarok. He needs to be more jokey.
Yeah, I think Ragnarok was when they finally figured it out because I gotta tell you, Ragnarok's one of my favorite MCU movies. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Really made me laugh, and it was just a fun adventure. Both that movie and Guardians, they out Star Wars. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a fun adventure, and I loved it.
In those two groups, Thor and the Guardians play well off each other, especially between Quill and Thor. Mm-hmm. You got Star-Lord playing jealous, basically, of Thor. It's great. He feels a little bit threatened because he has this super powerful being on his ship.
Right.
So I like that dynamic. And then in Endgame, you have Fat Thor, which is great. No body shaming. I'm a fat guy myself. So
yeah, all these people on the internet are screaming about, oh, you're making fun of fat people, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah, I'm fat. I had no problem with it.
You telling me that's you can never have a... Let's say I agree with you. Let's say it is body shaming. You're telling me that I can't write about that? Yeah. Fuck you. I can write about whatever I want. He's fat. He's disillusioned. He's let himself go.
Yeah.
And they have to bring him. That's his arc in the movie, is to find that again.
Yeah, he's lost hope in himself.
Right.
Which you tend to not take care of yourself after that.
Sure.
So, the only reason they got him to come was Rocket goes, we got beer on the ship.
Right.
But yeah, to me...
I didn't even think there was that many fat jokes anyway. Yeah, it's a joke that he's fat. Rocket says something. Tony calls him the Big Lebowski.
Which is great. I thought that was perfect.
That was pretty good. But, then Thor goes and has that moment with his mother.
Yeah.
And kind of is able to come back from it.
It's what's wrong with your eye? That's great. But yeah, he personally, I just loved him in that movie. He brought enough humor to it. I mean, that just kept me going through the movie. Like, I can't wait for Thor to be back on the screen again.
Yeah, I agree. Tony's a close second for me, or maybe even Bruce. Anytime, any of the main cast when they're on the screen, they're pretty captivating.
Yeah.
Thanos this time around, I have somewhat of a problem with because, well, first of all, I was like, wow, they killed him in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a shock. I was like, oh, okay, where's this going to go now? I already thought that it was, I didn't have any spoilers going into it, but I pretty much figured it had to have something to do with time travel.
Yeah. I think everybody did.
I don't think that was a surprise. So the fact that Thanos died and came back, no big shock. But the fact that he came back as a younger Thanos, because he didn't have the memories of the things that he had done, fundamentally makes him a different character.
Yeah.
Right?
He hasn't gone through all the battles that he had gone through.
The struggle to get the power.
Exactly. So.
And I keep wanting to say Xfinity.
Yeah. Oops.
We got our cable war going on.
Yeah, we need royalties for saying that. Where's our money for saying Xfinity?
$2 for Xfinity Wars. In that film, part of the reason why Thanos is such a great character is because of, he is very powerful, but it's not easy for him to accomplish his goals.
Yeah.
Right? He's been doing this for a long time, and he sacrifices Gamora, and he did care about her.
Yeah.
And I think he cares about Nebula too, honestly. Yeah. Definitely it's tough love and it's abuse, but, love's a tricky beast, right?
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's a totally different character.
Yeah, he assumes he's going to win. He sees in the future that he won, so he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to win now. I'm inevitable." Whatever he says. Yeah,
I think the only thing I like that a lot. So Scarlet Witch fucks him up, right?
Yeah.
Tony and Thor and Cap are all fighting them and barely able to keep up with them.
Yeah.
He screws up Tony's suit and he breaks Cap's shield in half.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch comes along and she's like, "You took everything from me," and she just starts wrecking him. And he goes, "I don't even know who you are."
Which happens twice in the movie.
Which I thought was hilarious, but was it worth deflating his character? Kind of he had a really good villain, and then now he's just, I don't want to say a mustache twirler, but not far off.
Yeah. It's sort of like you've diminished that character.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It kind of hurts me.
It makes you think that they couldn't beat him if he was at full power, regardless of what happened.
Right. I mean, I do I think they had a missed opportunity between him doing the double thing with Nebula.
Yeah.
Maybe if him and either Nebula.
Yeah.
I feel like whether it be the old one or the current timeline Nebula, they should have had some kind of, or Gamora, any of them. There should have been some kind of family resolution there. It should have been Return of the fucking Jedi, right? Yeah. There should have been some kind of family resolution there before he died, and to let us know that he's not just a monster.
Yeah.
Because if you would, I don't know why you would, but if you just look at Thanos just in this film, it's nothing like what made Infinity War great, right?
Yeah.
It's a different character, and it's understandable because it's a different timeline Thanos. So I understand why he's different, but fundamentally, he still has the same thoughts and sacrifices and ideas. So some of that should have come through, and I don't think it did.
Yeah, and it just, like I said, I just think he assumes he's going to win. He has a lack of fear now because he's gathered everything and accomplished his goal once. So he just assumes, I'm just going to do it every time. I don't know. It's strange that
I'm okay with arrogant villains to a point. Like a lot of them are. Like they explain their plans when they should just be killing the hero. But like, if it was just like, let's say it was just Tony, Cap, and Thor, and no one else versus Thanos, he would have killed them.
Yeah.
So like, why does he really need the gauntlet if he's that powerful?
Yeah. And then he gets the gauntlet, and that's when he loses. But
I would say he loses because of arrogance, but he really loses because of Deus Ex Machina, right?
Yeah, and the reason why I think the main difference also is in Infinity War, he wasn't arrogant. He had a purpose. He had a goal. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he had that in this one.
I agree.
Just some space guy out there. Hey, I think he wasn't even really looking for those stones yet, right? He was just after the Power Stone at that time.
I think he was just after one to see if he could do it and where it could go.
Yeah.
So I think he had told Nebula and Gamora what he would do if he could get, like, they knew about the snap then.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just not the same. It's like he goes from being this really layered character that is, a completely CG character. So like to have it, like, it's not just an actor.
Yeah.
I know it's Josh Brolin, who I think is a great actor. Don't get me wrong, I like him a lot. No Country for Old Men's a greater picture for him being in it.
Yep.
But you have this really layered character, and then now he's really no much better than Steppenwolf,
or
or
Ronan the Accuser.
You're right. He's just the big bad that's gonna kill everybody, and he became much more shallow.
Yeah. We'll throw one line in there where he keeps saying he's inevitable.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's very disappointing.
I want to. All right.
Let's pick up where we were talking about. We'll just talk about Gamora since.
Yeah. I feel like there's a convoluted thing there with her. Like, we have past tense Gamora coming into this new timeline, and there's a controversy between them, her and Thanos, and old Nebula and new Nebula. Yeah. And like, if it's impossible for you to wish or to get it, like, basically we're told that there is no way to get Black Widow back, right?
Yeah.
But here we have a second Gamora.
Yeah.
So like, if you had the Pym particles and a will and a way, then you can do it.
Yeah, you would just yank, like I said, a different version of Black Widow into this universe, but then that one's going to be missing out of that one, so it's sort of like, it's like a net gain of 0. So you have another universe, so that's what happened here. Gamora is actually from a alternate timeline when they went back to the Power Stone.
Right, and she doesn't know Peter anymore because they never met.
Yeah, because he's going to talk to her and she kicks him in a certain place.
Right. And
then Nebula's like, that's so-and-so. She goes, that's the one? Mm-hmm. Like, she's surprised that that's the man she was in love with.
Right.
So, but, yeah, from a totally different timeline. That's where she's from.
I get it. And like I said, I can let go timeline issues. It just seems like, I see 2 physical Nebulas, and this is a Gamora from the past, so there could be a Black Widow from the past, and like, is this Gamora going to stay in this timeline? Because if she does, then she's not in the past.
Well,
I mean,
the thing of the past, because like I said, it's a totally divergent
different dimension.
thing.
That's what I'm saying. You don't think that one of these dimensions can survive without a Black Widow?
Yeah, I know. Let's just start collecting people. That's the thing.
Well, the reason I bring this up is because I feel like a couple of missed opportunities. We talked about Bucky and the Shield and Cap, and okay, so the funeral, the movie ends with the funeral, right? Yeah. And it's all about Tony.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that Black Widow's sacrifice wasn't as strong.
I mean, they talked about it a little bit, and obviously Bruce is upset about it.
Bruce and
Hawkeye.
are the two most affected.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it's all about Tony.
Yeah.
Which I understand that they all witnessed Tony die because they were there,
Yeah.
and only Hawkeye was there for her. But I don't know. I feel like I needed a little bit more sadness for Black Widow being dead.
I think
not even just dead, gone is what we're told, completely gone.
Which
no coming back.
Yep. And the funny thing is, this is the difference between Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War, Cap keeps saying, we don't trade lives. We don't sacrifice people. Mm-hmm. And in Endgame, it's all about sacrificing people.
Right.
So, Black Widow sacrifices herself because they've learned that lesson. You sometimes have to do that, Tony sacrifices himself. They all even Bruce was ready to sacrifice himself. He put that gauntlet on. He didn't know if he was going to kill him or not when he did the snap. Right. They were all terrified to do it.
Right.
Thor was going to do it because he felt like, hey, I failed everybody. I'm going to do it, and they're like, no. we're going to have somebody else do it. But I mean,
well, is there anything else that bothered you in Endgame?
Just
it's not as cohesive.
No, it's a little bit messy. I mean, we went through two of the basically back in time things, which is the getting of the Soul Stone and getting, Thor going back and seeing his mom because he had to get the ether from whatever. The other one was basically there's 3 stones in New York, so there's 3 different things going on there,
which they immediately mess up.
Yep. The Hulk has to go get the Time Stone. He thinks he's going to be Doctor Strange. He's not there. You have the old ancient one is there.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, she knocks Bruce out of his body, out of the Hulk's body. So
she's like, I like the Tilda Swinton. She's a great actress. She says, "Oh, you're looking for Stephen Strange. You're about 5 years too early."
Yep. So she knows in the future that
right. She knows what's going on.
Yep.
To an extent.
Exactly. You have Cap fighting himself, tricking Hydra into thinking he's part of them.
I like that because that was a callback to there was a comic book run where Cap had joined Hydra, and I was like, oh, I think that's like a little nod to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Hell Hydra.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they just don't even question. They just let him go.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the film. I do think it's. Here's the thing. I think that the setup with Infinity War was so cohesive that this movie could afford to be a little messy.
Yeah.
And I'm not excusing it. I do think it needs to be tighter.
Yeah.
But I think that it can afford it. I think in a different franchise where that tighter movie didn't exist, this movie would not have went over well with audiences.
You also had more endings in this one than in Return of the King.
I don't know. It was close.
It was close. It's like, oh wait, you got another ending coming up here because they have to tie up all these loose ends,
Well, if you watch the extended version, Return of the King is like a half hour longer, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I've watched it many times. So I think there's a famous story where Elijah Woods was talking to Jack Nicholson, and he was talking about the end of Lord of the Return of the King, and Jack's like, I don't remember any of that. I left after the ending. So, yeah, there's just too many endings. But once again, you had to tie up all those ends,
Yeah, and I was fine with it. They, I like the, it's. I'm sure it's gonna be rough on younger kids, especially anybody like I don't know, under 13. Probably the first hour of the movie is a solid drama.
Yeah.
With very little to no action, which I'm fine with. We needed it. We needed a rest. I needed a resolution to at the end of Infinity War. But that being said, like, it's harder to find the 3-act structure in this film than it is in Infinity War. Like you said, we had the 3, different things going on at different times in Infinity War.
Yeah.
It lets you kind of compartmentalize it.
Yeah. I think it's the opening is where, Ant-Man comes back and realizes everybody's dead because he has no idea any of this even happened. He was only gone 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So in the quantum realm, he comes back and, which also is, like, I know you probably didn't see Ant-Man and Wasp, right?
I did not.
That's wrong too because he was in that quantum realm gathering stuff and he's like asking for somebody to bring him back. Like he was stuck there, which doesn't make sense. Oh, it was only 5 minutes. Well, he sounded desperate, like, hey, help me, get me out of here. That was the end credit scene. Because they all went in the dust when he went into the quantum realm.
Right.
But it was only 5 minutes, so what was he worried about, So.
Well, he might just be worried because he's not experienced with the quantum realm that much.
Yeah.
Also, like, in another, here's, speaking of quantum realms and the PIM particles, right?
Yeah.
So they make a big deal about it. They only have so many of them. They left them on the shelf when they stole them. They only took like half of what was there. Take them all.
Yep.
Take them all. Because why wouldn't you take them all? Because you could say, well, if I would take them all, then maybe there'll never be an Ant-Man, or it'll mess that, or whatever.
Yeah.
None of that matters if Thanos wins.
Yeah.
What? Take them all. The ending doesn't get me excited.
Yeah.
Like, the ending of Return of the King is very satisfactory and very, like, you feel like that you went on the journey and you
had resolution.
Great resolution. It feels good. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
We have our party on Endor with fireworks, and Luke's resolution of seeing the ghost and knowing that they got their resolution, like their unfinished business, and it's over for them. And this movie didn't give me that feeling.
Yeah. Because they're going to make 20 more movies.
Right.
So, that's the concern now. Where does it go from here?
Well, don't get me wrong. I thought it was okay. It was a fine wrap up. I'm not saying it's bad.
No, it's great.
It was good, but it just didn't give me that feeling. And like, I was really blown away by the end of Infinity War.
Oh.
And if that had been the end of it all, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have been okay with it. It's much more finite than this is. And I think it's a better film. So what would you? I mean, I don't give A pluses.
Yeah, I know.
Jaws is an A plus to me, and it's one of the few. I'd have to think about other A pluses. Infinity War, I can give a solid A.
Yeah, I would give an A to Infinity War too.
This movie, I don't know. I'm B plus.
I was thinking B myself, straight B.
Straight B.
Yeah.
So straight B from Brian, and I think I can go as high as B plus, maybe. Yeah. You know what? No, I'll come on your board. I'm fine with B, just because that I had no questions after Infinity War.
Yeah.
There are things here, and it could be that I blinked or whatever. I don't know, but there's certain things here that don't, and some of them. Or maybe I missed something, and some of them are clear storytelling problems, right? It just doesn't gel as well. But it's still a solid movie.
Yeah. And I was entertained through it.
A B is a 4 out of 5 all day, right?
Yeah.
And an A is a 5 out of 5. So, I mean, who can complain? These are both great movies, and if you've seen one, you're gonna see this one, right?
Yep. And if you haven't seen it already, what do
I
you
don't know
waiting
what
for?
the hell you're doing
What are you waiting for?
listening to this.
Yeah. This is a lot less entertaining than the movie, so go see it.
No, you guys will enjoy it, especially you comic book fans. I think some of you will come out of there with questions and wanting to know more. And I'm definitely... See, here's the thing, and that's what... Yeah, I think a B is an appropriate grade, because I'm not going to pay to see this movie again. I will see it again, but I'm going to wait. You know how it is now, but come fall, it's going to be on DVD. Maybe before.
But don't you want to add to it so it beats Avatar?
Well, see, now there you got me.
Just add an extra 10?
Well, you know what I'll do? I'll wait, because it's going to be in the theater a long time, right?
Yeah.
This is going to run for months. So, it's going to be on with something at the drive-in.
Yeah.
and I'll go there so I can watch 2 movies, and I'll watch Infinity War again.
Yeah.
And then they can have, my money that way.
Probably when Spider-Man Far From Home comes out, they'll probably have it.
Oh, yeah, because that's only like, a month away?
Yeah, it's pretty close. So.
I think June, or beginning of June.
Yep.
Spider-Man's been getting June release dates, or late May for a while, so... yeah, we'll look forward to that, and so thank you for joining us in our Infinity War versus Endgame discussion. Infinity War is the clear winner, and we thank you for joining us on the Storytellers. Until next time.
Brian?
And I'm Nate.